All right, everyone. I've never seen someone quite as cringy within politics as Nikki Haley. I think that she might have even outdone Elizabeth Warren and Beto O'Rourke at this point. And, she's going into South Carolina in 5 days to lose handily in her own home state in the primary, and her career at that point is officially over. DeSantis saved himself. He said he looked at the writing on the wall, and he said, realistically, it ain't happening. I managed to beat Nikki Haley out for second in Iowa, which I thought was great. Then he dropped out and endorsed Trump. Again, it was a little bit of a half-baked endorsement, but I mean, for what it's worth. He did give it, so he gets credit for that. He did bonk Nikki Haley in Iowa, so I pledge not to insult him or his fans further, unless your name is Max Nordau. He's got Trump derangement syndrome worse than any liberal that I've ever seen, so he's still fair game. Everyone else has pretty much climbed back aboard the Trump train. There are still a couple of people out there, though, that mysteriously think Nikki Haley would be a good idea. I think that this tweet might change your mind. 12 fellas down, 1 to go, says Nikki Haley, as though she has literally any chance in snowball's fucking hell against Donald Trump. The problem is that when it's alleged that you've committed adultery several times, as she probably did, and you don't even address the allegations, like she's never really denied them. She just says, well, it's misogynistic when people bring it up. I noticed that among neoliberal females, there's a tendency towards this. Kamala Harris, Fani Willis, Nikki Haley, seems to happen an awful lot. The problem with her fellas obsession is that against the context of the allegations against her, it's not necessarily the greatest of looks. And she got massively ratioed on this post, by the way. I'm not going to bother archiving it because I have a feeling she's lacks self-awareness to the point where she probably doesn't understand why she would want to delete this particular tweet. So I'm sure that it's been archived anyway. So if it doesn't appear, just run it through archive.today and I'm sure that it's there. I'm not even going to goddamn bother with this one because ratioed tweets typically get archived pretty quickly. I am very, very proud to have contributed heavily to people doing that. Archive.today does it real well. Now, sometimes the URL changes a little bit, but whatever. Archive.is, archive.fl. It's not always 100% clear, but it always redirects, so it's okay. The thing is, I weighed in, and I said, oh, here's Nikki Haley recounting her experience with the college football team, because that's sort of who she is. Her campaign at this point has devolved into my vagina, I'm younger, and that's it. What other positions does she have other than I want to bomb more people than Trump does, and as a good Republican, you should vote for me? And by the way, it's funny when her campaign says, well, we're more electable due to the Kasich effect within polling that I've discussed a half a dozen times just in this election cycle. It's because nobody knows her name as much as Trump. So, with Trump, it's a known quantity. He's the former president of the United States who's running. With Nikki Haley, a lot of people still don't know much about her. And so it's basically generic Republican versus Biden. Well, generic Republican versus Biden does pretty well in a matchup until she opens her fucking mouth and keeps losing more and more steam in the polls. She would not beat Joe Biden. If Nikki Haley were nominated, and she won't be, it will be Donald Trump. At this point, we can just say that will be the case, unless there's some real shenanigans that go on. She would lose. I am confident that she would lose against Joe Biden. The funny thing is hearing a Republican talk about, I've got greater electability. Republicans, especially neocon Republicans, they're supposed to lose with grace, bow their head solemnly, breathe a deep sigh, step back out of the limelight, and just stay bowed like that, like statues, and a remnant of power that once was, a remnant of past victories. Well, in the Republican Party's case, other than the Trump era, it's been a while since they had any major accomplishments. Yeah, Bush was a real winner. I noticed that even the Democrats like him now because he worships at the altar of TDS. Oh, that Herbert Walker really cared about the United States. Yeah, fucking cry me a river, dude. Same cloth cut as Nikki Haley, basically. He's obsessed. She uses the term fellas like, do a Twitter advanced search for fella or fellas and tell me how many tweets you find. She's habitual in this. And the basic premise is, well, I'm a woman. Where have we seen that in recent politics? Oh, it was the Hillary Clinton campaign. There was a whole goddamn supercut song about that. You remember that one? With all of her woman references, and then they auto-tuned it and shit, and they compiled it together. It's like 3 minutes of Hillary Clinton remarking on the fact that she once had a functional vagina. Well, that's basically what Nikki Haley is doing, except Nikki Haley at least is young enough to appeal to the boomers. Oh, look at that young spring chicken. Oh boy, I'd like to slide between them thunder thighs. You can just imagine some 70-year-old FUD getting it up for the last time just thinking about Nikki Haley. I don't think Hillary Clinton really had that effect on people. I never understood it. I'm more like, okay, well, there's Representative Luna. Boebert exists. There are a handful of actual younger women that are in Congress. Nikki Haley's not in Congress, nor is she particularly young. No offense to anyone there in their mid-50s. I think she's like 55 or something like that. But at that point, you know, I mean, I'm barely young-ish. I'm 36 years old. I'm not a college kid anymore. She seems to have forgotten this. She's appealing to people by virtue of her genitals. You should switch parties and run as a Democrat. Maybe she'll do that. Once she gets curb stomped in her own home state, she can come out and say, well, the Republican Party is just too misogynistic to have a female candidate. So they're stubbornly going with Orange Man because he hates women, or something like that. She say, I'm abandoning the Republican Party. I'm going to become a Democrat. It'd be good. She's a backstabbing liar. She's pro-war. She's the darling of the big corporations that haven't already thrown in behind Biden. She's a warmonger. She's in favor of gun control. She likes id poll. Why are you running as a Republican at this point? You might have gotten away with this in 2012, or say you would have done a great job if you had run in 2012. It's not 2012 anymore. It's 2024. And so Nikki Haley, basically, what she doesn't seem to realize, and what many of her fans appear oblivious to, she represents the old school GOP. The old school GOP was, we're going to try to out-id poll the Democrats and consistently lose in so doing, because we just can't fucking make it work, and you never will. We're going to bomb some people, and we'll suck up to corporations, and we'll call it a day. And Americans will still vote for us for some mysterious reason. Trump came in, was war skeptic. He didn't start any new wars. He didn't ramble about his penis all day. He's not LBJ, you see. That apparently was an issue at times, including him literally whipping his apparently overly large cock out at one point, waving it around in the face of several staffers and telling them that was why he was in charge. LBJ was an interesting character. By the way, towards the end, I think that he understood the damage that he had done, regretted it, and that's why he didn't run, and sort of disappeared, grew a beard, and became a hermit. Nikki Haley, though, talks about boys constantly, which is really funny because she also talks about, I mean, she's obsessed with gender identity. Again, you forgot what party you were running for. You think that the average Republican voter is going to say, oh my God, yeah, we need a strong, empowered woman at all hazards. Fuck her ideology. Who cares about her platform? Yeah, we'll elect the female George W. Bush. It's not going to work. And now you're talking about your college experiences with, 12 guys, 1 cup, I guess, or something like that. The hell are you smoking? At least we know she's in favor of marijuana legalization because she is clearly hitting that rose. That's about all. Peace out.